5-year contracts are illegal in the state of Wisconsin for administrators and school districts and for teachers. So, yes, I voted to re-up the superintendent that we currently have, as well as the other administrators that we currently have. Why? Because contrary to public opinion, once again, we have an outstanding group of administrators in this district, okay? But administrators are just like anybody else. It's like any boss you have and any job you have, somebody's gonna like them, somebody's not gonna like them, okay? Overall, we have an excellent group of administrators who care about education, care about their students, care about their buildings. And if I had any doubt of that, I would look to replace those administrators with different administrators who have those values, because that's what's important to us, okay? Our administrative team right now, when I first became president 6 years ago, I sat down with Dr. Hayden. I hear a lot of people talk about how, you know, the board president is Dr. Hayden's lackey. That, you're just not, you don't have a grip on reality, okay? Many is the time that, you know, I've had to converse with Jim in less than pleasant tones to make sure that we're doing the right thing, and vice versa, okay? I take his input. Why? Because he lives this stuff, okay? I made sure that he understood his getting involved on a statewide basis, on a national basis, is important to his development and those things that he brings back to the district from those types of occurrences. And I'll, sorry.
You have 18
Oh,
seconds.
okay, cool. So, yes, and we do that for all of our administrators, just like we do for our teachers, okay? Training is what makes them better, okay? In our maintenance division, for example, we tell guys, take this training, take this training, take this training. It means more money. They have better value to us if they're more highly trained. Okay.
So this means 30 seconds.
Yeah, I keep, the zero freaks me out.
Okay,
Yeah, there you go.
should I switch it up?
Yeah.
An hour
let's
into
do
it?
that.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Thank you.
It is confusing. It looks.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like,
30 seconds.
It does.
And just so you know, it's 7:37.
thank you.
I think it
What
was
was
good.
our
Do
time?
I
two
like
more
that class better
questions.
because it makes me younger.
Do you have anything to add to that? I know you didn't vote or anything.
No, I wasn't
but-
on the board, so I didn't vote for him. Would I vote for him? Honestly, I guess right now, based on the interactions I've had from him, I would. But I don't work with him on a day-to-day basis, so I think in a position in which I would have more interaction and have a little bit more closely able to scrutinize what he's doing, and that would determine on what, you know, how I would go. But the interactions I've had with him so far have been pleasant. So I can't really say anything negative about him because I haven't really worked with him on that basis. But I know there's rumblings, people aren't happy. But again, that's coming from my position right now. I would have to say that at this point I'm okay with it.
Okay. Next question, Scott is first. How do you stay in touch with the current conditions environment of the district's well-being other than the weekly updates that are provided by the wording and summary from Dr. Hayden? Do you seek out information on your own? How?
Read that one more time for me.
How do you stay in touch with the current conditions and environment of the district's well-being other than the weekly updates that are provided by the wording and summary from Dr. Hayden? Do you seek out information on your own? How?
Yes, I talk to teachers, I talk to students, every chance I get. Being here as long as I have, I'm in tune with a number of the older staff that we have. They know who I am. A lot of them taught my kids. I mean, and again, going back to the earlier question we had about being a board member with kids in the district, okay? Yeah, I think that improved their education because, again, as wrong as it seems to me now, back then, that was my focus. I wanted my child to have, I would seek out who's the best English teacher, who's the best math teacher, who's the best coach, and I would direct my kids in those directions. But yes, I have relationships that I built over the years with teachers, with secretaries, with maintenance guys, with students, all of the above.
Tina, do you just want to?
Say it again, please.
It's talking about how do you stay in touch with the current conditions, environment of the district's well-being other than the weekly updates that are provided by Dr. Hayden? Do you seek out information on your own? How do you
I don't
see
get a
yourself
weekly-
doing
I don't get
that?
a weekly update from Dr. Hayden, but, you know, I read a lot of what's on our social media, our, you know, Facebook page, that kind of stuff, newsletter, talking to other parents, even my kids' teachers, that kind of stuff. So, but I don't have a problem definitely going out and saying, hey, you know, what's up with this, what's up with that? Can I have some feedback? And not take it, you know, what's coming to me at face value. So.
Can I ask a question? Since you become a candidate, you're not getting a weekly packet?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
my packet
And-
isn't as detailed as your.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Okay. How do I stay informed besides Dr. Hyden's updates? Well, I've lived in the community for a good hot minute. So since 2000, let's say 2000 or 1. And, you know, I'm usually a pretty likable person, so I've made friends here. So, I mean, I have friends who have kids in schools, and they tell me, like, the things that concern them, and the things that go well. Also, I taught here for a long time, so I have, you know, being in the same job for 7 years, you're going to make friends, I would assume, if you're a nice person. I still keep in contact with those people. So, I mean, I get those kind of things, but also we get surveys. We get surveys from the staff. We do climate surveys, and so we get feedback on that too, of what's going well and what is not going well. So that's some independent data that were presented as well.
Okay.
Also, I have former students that are friends.
This will be the last question, and then we'll let you guys do your 5-minute summary at the end. So Tina's going to start on this one. And the question is, whose primary responsibility is it to create, maintain, and monitor a consistent and cohesive student disciplinary system? Do you believe this system is working? I know you're not on the board yet, so you don't exactly know the first half of that question, but what is your feeling on if it's working and who should be in charge or whose responsibility is it?
Well, Scott had mentioned that the board does policy, so I would think that the board would then be creating the policy that would also include discipline. And again, I'm lucky to have a child that's not a discipline issue. So I don't have a lot of firsthand knowledge of what the discipline process is. I have heard from different parents some of the things that are supposed to be implemented and may not be implemented, or are implemented and not necessarily implemented on a regular basis. And just from that knowledge, I would have to say then these what's out there is not working and needs to maybe be revisited.
Okay. I think it's we pay our administrators good money to make sure that we are implementing good behavioral policies, and it's also up to our classroom teachers to implement those policies. But even for a classroom teacher, if they're not supported when they try to implement those policies, it's gonna fall apart. Everybody's gonna be on the same page, really. So we set that policy, but we also, I think, we are the last overseer of everything as a board, in my opinion. So if things aren't working, then, and that gets reflected back to us, then we need to address that, and that is something that we have done. There was, like a big report that came out on the middle school of like what was, not going well, and ways that that the administration was gonna try to address that. I know that the middle school is also trying to implement a new system of discipline with restorative justice, which is difficult to implement. It's a very valuable practice, but it can take time to learn how to use it effectively. And I can easily see how that could fall apart a little bit until people gain more experience with it. So I don't think that it's necessarily our job to create discipline policy, but it is our job to make sure that that is being implemented well, and it's our job to oversee that as a whole, that kids are having a safe place to learn.
Okay. I mentioned before that the board is 7 members who make decisions, make policy, etc. However, for the last 6 years, the buck stops with me, okay? At the end of the day, it's my responsibility to make sure that everything works in this district. It's the responsibility of anyone who is fortunate enough to be elected by their peers to the position that I've held for the last 6 years, okay? In turn, I hold my administrative staff responsible for that policy as well, okay? When there's issues, etc., we address these issues, we address them correctly, we address them so we're not getting sued left and right, okay? We have laws to follow just like any other business, okay? I set it up as a business model just like I use in the private sector. There's a chain of command. This is how it works. Starts here, moves up the chain till it gets to the end, okay? And like it or not, that's the responsibility that I bear, okay? And I talk to the superintendent on a daily basis. And I'm not talking Monday through Friday, I'm talking 7 days a week. We're either talking on the phone, or he's texting me, which I have a difficult time with because I'm an old guy, but we are always in contact and we always have a pulse on what's going on, okay? We have students that are great students. We have students that are poor students. We have students that do things out in the community that are horrible, okay? But some of that stuff we really can't control, okay? So the answer to the question as far as I'm concerned is, yeah, there are 7 of us that have that responsibility, but at the end of the day, the buck stops right here.
Okay, so now each of you can give your closing summary if you have anything you wanted to say regarding a previous question, restate a point, do anything like that, and you get 5 minutes. And we'll start with Crystal.
Hand that over.
Oh,
Please don't
sorry.
start my